30 years ago. You're down to one shop, and you're sort of marketing yourself a wee bit differently in some respects. Like I know you couldn't turn your mic on, so that gives you an indication you must have somebody else doing your social media and stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean we have sort of through the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. There was a lot of manufacturing in New Zealand, and my grandfather was running the business then. And a lot of the big manufacturers in New Zealand said, well, you open the stores, we'll fill it full of stock. You don't have to pay us. We'll just pay us when you can. It was different. And once we got to about the 70s, things started to go pear-shaped. As you said before, Dad was involved with New Zealand cricket. He was managing the New Zealand cricket team. He was going to ICC meetings in London. And I probably took the eye off the ball a little bit, but suddenly we made a decision. We needed to close down a few of the business shops and consolidate down to one or two shops again. And it's a hell of a lot easier. And we sort of trying to get back to Europe and travel a lot more, and sort of go a little bit more up market. And we're sort of aiming at that middle to top end now. And business is pretty good still. So, and we're trying to develop our website, which obviously I don't do, but that's sort of paying off now. We're getting a lot of, not so much sales on our website, but certainly younger people are looking at it and then coming into the store. So that's working.
Yeah. Hamish, can I just chime in? And the move from that iconic corner, Vance Vivian corner, down to the Golden Mile, I suppose you could have chosen a number of locations in Wellington.
Yeah.
But particularly the Golden Mile, what was the reasoning and focus around moving yourselves to there?
Well, I think that one of the things that's good to be around the hotels, the Intercontinental, we've got the DoubleTree above us, the James Cook. So it's good to be around all the major hotels. Also, people are going to come to shop. They always sort of gravitate to that, the Golden Mile first. So, it's probably the best place to be. There's all the government workers here. Mind you, that's moving to Bowen Street now, but, we had the Foreign Affairs above us. We had Westpac over the road, ANZ just up the road. So a lot of our sort of customers.
Yeah. In terms of, I've mentioned the Golden Mile. A couple of people that I know, they call it the Rusty Mile. But however, as far as looking at this Golden Mile, as far as council is concerned, how are things looking for the Golden Mile? How are things working with council? Because you're right in the thick of it, and you've also been asked for opinions. What's your opinion in terms of moving forward?
Well, I've been to quite a few meetings with the council and even with the mayor's been to a few of them. They don't listen. They don't listen to us, and they certainly don't listen to the retailers. We've all been here, like Parks and Jewelers, ourselves, Village Goldsmiths. We've all been here a long time, and we know the customers that come in here and how they come in. We have a lot of people that drive down from Palmerston and Wanganui in the weekends to shop. They have to be able to get into the city, and we try to talk to the council, but they don't listen. It's just like they just want to just tick the boxes. We've talked to the retailers now, good, but Tory and their gang are just going ahead with it, willing nothing. And I'm not saying that money needs to be spent in the city to tidy it up, but we don't need to go as far as what they're suggesting.
Yeah.
So Hamish, if you're looking at Hamish, he's immaculately dressed, and there's a number of us from the company that go to Vance Vivian's, but Hamish is going to give us a bit of a deal, aren't you, Hamish?
Well, because you're such a good guy, Mike, and looked after me at school, I was going to suggest is maybe any of the guys that work there could come in, or the ladies could come in, and we'll give them a 20% discount in the store until Christmas. So the ladies can bring in their partners, or the guys want to buy a new suit or a pair of jeans or shoes or something, then great. They can bring them in and we'll look after you guys.
Awesome, mate. Really appreciate that.
Hamish, I think this is, when we look at history and when I look back as a youngster, and you mentioned that location of Vance Vivian, James Smith's, I recall Farmers up the road. And I remember as a student, there was this mass at 5 o'clock or whatever time the stores closed, this mass exodus of these young students who were sort of doing their holiday jobs and these places, just all of a sudden descending down Cuba Street. And it was pretty damn good. But how things have changed, it really has. And I think for us, if we don't adapt, if we don't change, we get a bit stagnant, don't we?
Yeah, I think, we in our sort of industry, we're going to Europe. We used to go to Europe before COVID twice a year, but now we're going once a year. But to see what the changes are, to connect with our suppliers, and just, you have to keep tweaking things all the time. But you don't, if things are working, you don't have to make massive changes. You just got to sort of just keep adapting a little bit all the time. And certainly in the fashion industry, that's just, that, and it's seasonal too, so it's everything's changing. But, as I said, if things are working, you want to keep up with the times and change, but don't do anything dramatic, because our business is good. It's worked for 100 years, So.
Well, this dinosaur here, if we're still having a conversation, are you going to make a century? Are you
a century of what? Well, I think you can tell how old we are because we've spent more time in the last century than we have in this century in real estate. So you do your maths. We've been around for a while, but yeah.
Hamish, wonderful to have you on board. The background that Broads has mentioned, there's some wonderful history there, and people like yourselves who have given so much to Wellington and have maintained themselves in this wonderful community. We're pretty thankful. So we're thankful to you, to Robert, to your family. Congratulations on 100 years. And,
thanks.
And I hope that you'll see some of us into the store at some point in time. And we appreciate your time this morning.
Hey, look, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, good work, mate.
Kia ora. Kia ora.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks. All right, Carl. Carl, there's a couple of things you want to mention.
Yep. Just very quickly, morning everybody. Just the November comp finishes up on Monday. We've sort of blacked out the results for the last couple of days just to keep everybody guessing. But I have to say the appraisals are still coming in thick and fast, so that's pretty good. Just so if you're aware, there's $2,000 up for the individual and team prize, 1,000 for second, and 500 for third. Plus the office competition, if they reach their targets, $500 towards the office to do something. Property Guru gets launched on Monday across the entire company. It does look different to what maybe some of you have seen Guru in the past. So even if you've got Guru now, please come along to the training and have a look at the new product and making sure you're fully up to date with everything. We're going to roll out training. You'll get your invites on Monday. Training will start Tuesday. And then every week up until Christmas, and then back again in the new year to repeat everything again. Property Smarts will continue on until the end of January. Then it'll be cut off. We launched text messaging through NutriCloud to everybody. It's now free. There's no cost associated whatsoever. Just using your own mobile plan. We ran a session last week. There's a session coming up, I think, next week on that as well. If not today, I can't remember when it is. But that text messaging service for Just Listen, Just Sold is amazing. Anne-Marie out at Wairarapa set mine out straight after we did the training. 130, I think she went out. She got 4 booked appraisals, plus another 10 responses, all positive and asking more questions. So a really good tool to use. That's me. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Carl. Talking with Hamish and of course having my mate Broads here. Yes, there's a few dinosaurs around, but people like that, we do bring something to the table, which is, I suppose, knowledge and patience and some good stuff. But however, when we head into our business, gee, it's a wide world now, isn't it? And the importance of how we bring these tools and use them. Social media, and we're going to bring in Amanda now. And Amanda, morena, hello. Hello. Yeah. This is, gosh, I've watched you on social media, and I'm thinking, wow, this is a new world. This is something that just opens things up, opens corridors and doors. And but when we talk about social media, what sites? I mean, are you sort of on particular sites as far as social media is concerned?
Yes. So I'll do quite a comprehensive answer, if that's okay. I think
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily matter. Oh, shit. I can just hear myself echoing back, guys. Do you mind turning that off, Julia? Sorry. Yeah, it doesn't matter what kind of sites you're on, but I'd pick a couple and do them really well. Or if you can only do one, I'd do that really well. And it also depends what you're using social media for. So if I just put everything in the context of our own business, when we started out in real estate, we had a website, and we've actually got an incredibly comprehensive website, which actually needs to be upgraded. But for us, if people are researching us, they're most likely to go onto our website where I can control exactly what we look like in a professional manner. And I have very comprehensive answers to people's questions on there. So for us, social media supplements what we've already put on a website. Facebook and Instagram are our main platforms, and Facebook would be a more professional version of social media, where Instagram a slightly more casual social media. So it's all about a strategy. So when I really started diving into social media with any great amount of energy, I thought, what am I trying to achieve here? And so we actually have written marketing strategies. So the first round of kind of trying to put a consistent message out there was, I want to overcome people's reluctance to work with a team. At the time when we were one of the only teams in Wellington, that was used against us all the time. So for me, putting out a friendly, happy team, bringing their personality and their presence to our social media was really important. So then they become more than just like a name and that the listing's going to be handed off to. They're a skillful agent in their own right. And also overcome a negative rhetoric about working in our team. And actually that was incredibly successful. So I was very consistent with smiley, happy team doing their job and their professionalism. At the same time, I peppered that with team-based testimonial slides. If you've ever been onto my Instagram, it goes testimonial and then a photo or whatever we're trying to achieve there. I showcase listings on Facebook because you can like boosted posts on there. We get a lot of inquiry through our Facebook. And then the behind the scenes stuff. What are you as people? That's all in our story. So, showing the funny stuff, the day-to-day, what it like to be a real estate agent. So always professional on the landing pages with the real insights, which is the stuff that keep drawing people back into the story. So that was our first strategy. I've been running that for a few years on Facebook and Instagram only. When I say about being consistent, I pulled down our LinkedIn sites. It was something we were doing very poorly and was out of date. So if you're not going to do something well, take it down, because if that's the place that someone's researching you on, you've got an out of date presence. I think it does you a complete disservice. More recently, and it's probably been as of the middle of this year, I've known that we need to move because social media moves. So when I was doing those things on social media, I think it was appropriate. Social media has moved a lot now. And I think where you need to be on social media is a trusted advisor. You need to be adding value to your audience. It's a very time intensive place to be. So our new strategy is bringing a voice to our auction success, because for me, Ray White has no corporate presence in the media, and we were constantly overcoming very vocal people like Craig Lowe and Tommy's shooting down the auction. So I'm not sure if any of you follow us on social media, but we've started launching our weekly update. So Ben and I every Monday have professionally filmed a weekly update that allows us to talk about the company's deadline and tender results, the company's auction results, highlight auction, like a really great auction. Also demystify the process, make it not negative that something didn't sell. It's just part of a process, and as is something not selling at a tender. And that has been way more successful than I ever anticipated. So we got a listing off it within a few weeks. People just watching that and understanding the process without us trying to hammer it through to them in a listing presentation. So having our own auction voice and then becoming the kind of trusted advisor for real estate. So we're now doing vendor tips, buyer tips, and real estate terms explained. So we're doing those bi-week, 2 a week. So again, this is all added value to the audience, and that's where social media is now. In between that, you can pepper that with a lot less of selling your own stuff. That might be some testimonials. Certainly you can boost your listings, but then also the behind the scenes stuff, again, in the stories, the stuff people want to see. What is the real estate agent like? What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? The value of maybe doing a sneak peek in your stories. So that's where we were. That's where we've moved to. We're still Facebook and Instagram predominantly. We've just started diving into TikTok, mostly because generally audiences will move from one platform to the next. The audience probably on TikTok is not right at the age range that I want it to be, which would be a selling public, but it will become, because Instagram didn't used to be, and then people get bored of a platform and transition. But TikTok is a very different medium where you need to be a friendly, more casual, doing a little bit jokey, but maintaining your professionalism, I think. If you look at someone like Louis Metzen, he started doing TikTok. I think he's doing himself an incredible disservice. So if you want to, it might be how to do TikTok some ways, but if you're looking to research Louis Metzen and you're going to pay him $25,000 and he's on there swearing, or which he is, not a great idea in my eyes.
Yeah.
It's not authentic. It's just straight unprofessional.
Yeah. Amanda, just if a person like me, for instance, who is not fronting social media, and to be honest, I'm not even involved with that. But however, its worth is, as you've just outlined, is immense. Where would I start? Would I need to sit down with someone and say, because some of us, me, I'm uncertain, but may not be comfortable fronting Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. But so where would I start to maybe get some information and help?
Well, I think with social media it's just do it and see the response. I think if you're going to be on social media, you have to front it. It's a social media. You got to front it. So if you don't want to front it, don't do it. Because no one wants to look at your boring static pictures of stuff. It's boring. I try and follow other agents and I think I'm fucking bored here. So if I'm bored and I'm in the industry and I genuinely want to follow you, then maybe you need to rethink what you're doing. So really think, how is this going to land with my audience? What do they want to see from me? And put a face to it. And it doesn't need to be perfect. You do it and you go, okay, well, how did that land? What was the feedback? Did I get any engagement? What could I do better next time? But I do think it's worthwhile sitting down and thinking, because it is a huge amount of effort. For example, for that weekly update, it probably takes me 3 hours to write and then another hour to film. Then it needs to be edited and posted. So it's like a 5-hour process to do that weekly update. So if you're going to do it, have a strategy, because it's not, it's taking you away from doing other things. So, I mean, like, Pete, for example, what would you be trying to achieve out of social media? Do you know?
Well,
feeling like you need to be there because other people are there?
No, I would think is if I was to address this, it'll be lifting my profile,
Mhm.
possibly those who will start to follow me will be enthused and may be a source of business. But
Enthused about what? Enthused about what?
enthused about what I'm saying. So I think if I'm going to be doing social media, it's important as to what information I'm putting across.
Yeah.
And in other words, am I selling myself? So yep. So what am I trying to achieve? Selling me.
Okay. So you need to sell you without selling you. So you
Yeah.
need to provide information to the audience that brings value to them so that they think, hey, that Pete actually really knows what he's talking about and he seems like a nice guy. So selling without selling, not like I'm number one, because I'm not sure if we don't, it is the rarest of rare things that you would ever hear us talking that we're number one outside of our annual awards post. I don't think anyone gives a fuck about your monthly got first in the office for November 2021, you know? I don't think that that's personally selling. I think selling is being a valued and trusted real estate professional and demystifying the static image on Trade Me, showing yourself as a decent human being.
Yeah.
So I just think getting out and doing that, like,
I don't know if you comment about social media. I'm with Pete, but I'm a sort of the ilk of the year that I'm almost embarrassed to go up there in case some of my mates starts taking the piss out of me online. So and that's my error a wee bit, and I'm a bit like what Amanda's saying that you can't do it right, don't do it. I think
no, sorry, you've probably taken the wrong thing. You don't need to get it right from the outset.
Right.
No, I just think you've got to be consistent, but you don't need to get it right. Social media allows you to trial stuff. We certainly haven't got it right all along, do you know? And who says that we're getting it right now? We aren't. It's an evolution. Think of it as an evolution, but just summon up the courage to do it. And then if you look at our first weekly update, it was pretty bloody bad because we were so stiff and nervous and and it just gets better as you do it. It's just about, social media is about doing it. It doesn't need to be scary. But if you're going to do it, think, how is this going to land? What am I doing here? What am I trying to achieve here?
So consistency is the word that you've used, and I reckon it's a great word in real estate because a lot of us do stuff. We might start off dropping letterbox drops. We don't get anything out of that. So that's 3 months. We chuck it down the track. We try all these different things, and because we don't stick at it, you never know whether it's going to work or not. So if you're consistent and carry on doing something and getting it right, like you're saying, Amanda, it's obviously been hugely beneficial for you.
Well, I actually can't tell you if it's been hugely beneficial because it's so anecdotal. So I feel like it's just a strand out of a large marketing mix. We've done everything consistently since we started. So we consistently do a mid-year and annual, end of year mail out. We consistently do social media. We consistently ring this many people a week. It's just one strand in a big media strategy. So I think you're definitely not going to win anything if you're not consistent, but it's a little bit anecdotal, except for when I go on and look at my weekly update. We're now getting, at the start we got a lot of engagement, like. If you go on and look at our analytics, which I find really interesting, we've got 1 hour and 50 minutes worth of people watching it, but a couple of likes. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I can sort of use a couple of examples. Mel Harper, who works for Tommy's, she was an attractive lady, and her boyfriend said, "You should get yourself up on billboards all over Wellington. People are going to like you." And that was all right. She put these billboards up. They cost her a fortune, but she didn't have the other stuff to back it up. She didn't have the history in the real estate. She didn't have the success. What obviously you and Ben have, Amanda, and your team. So you do have to be able to back up whatever you're putting up online. Is that fair to say?
I think that people think that leads come easier to us than they do. I tell you, we fight and compete for every single listing that we get. So I don't think What?
You're in the game, whereas she wasn't really in the game. She just put a photo and hoped that was going to put her into the game.
I think the difference between winners and losers in real estate is consistency. So, yeah.
I can tell you a story because I came from Tommy's, and Tommy used to, he's one of the greatest salespeople ever, and Rob will verify that. And he always used to rant and rave. He came to one meeting and he said to us, "You've got to do something different. You've got to stand out, be different from everybody else. Don't be the same." And he said, "What are you doing, bro?" It's like, "Oh shit, what am I doing?" I'll promise you this: you write a note to all the people you sold a house to, or all the people that you've dealt with in real estate, and drop them off. And it's not a white shitty envelope. And don't say anything about real estate. He said, just say, "Hi, drove past your house today. The house looks great. I always enjoy dealing with you. I look forward to catching up to you in the future." And within 2 weeks, I got one listing from a lady who had actually listed her house with Loan Co, but she got a friend to sell a house for me. I kept on doing it for about another month, and I got another listing. Then I kept on doing it for about another 4 months. I got nothing. So what did I do?
Give up.
And then I got, so I reckon if I carried on, I would have got a lot more, So it's just.
Totally. And the other thing is, like, don't think that social media is the easy route. If you do nothing else, you should be picking up the phone. You can forget all about social media. If you're not picking up the phone, why are you wasting your time on social media? Because it feels like an easier option. Phone calls are 100%. You could do nothing else, and you could just do phone calls and have a consistent business. Social media should be something else, but not a substitute because you don't want to pick up the phone.
Yeah, well, Amanda, thanks. It certainly has brought some light, and I think some certainly enthusiasm into how we approach and do things. And as we see 2024 to a close, it's certainly something for us to think about, because consistency, roads, all of that. But also too, it's how we approach. And if we're going to approach 2025, this is our business, and if we're going to approach it just as we've done this year, or are you going to be a little bit different? So in other words, are we going to step up a bit, or are we just simply going to carry on and just say, yep, I'll just be just Mr. or Mrs. Consistency, and we'll just carry on through. But thank you, Amanda. Thanks for giving us some background into social media. Look, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And as you said, if you can't do a property, then don't do it. But however,
no, I didn't say that. I said start and get there.
I said it.
Nobody didn't listen. I just wanted to come there.
Well, if I misinterpreted, my apologies. But however, if you are going to go that direction, then make sure that you have everything planned, and that, yes, Amanda, if I'm quite right, if you don't get it right the first time, you will get it right the second and third time.
Just keep reviewing what you're doing. Just watch social media trends. If you did nothing but come at it from a place of adding value to your audience, you're like 95% of the way there.
Yeah, wonderful. So thank you again, Amanda. Thanks for sharing your time. Really appreciate that. Well, everyone, Fano, this is about it. This is 2024, bros.
Man, that's right.
I was actually spoke to Mike just before we came on here, and I said, bros, I'm most probably going to ask you something, because this year it's been wonderful. You've been very close to your travel agent this year. But when we had, one of our guests was about timeout and just recharging batteries. And this year, you and Jill, which is Mike's wife, they've actually, had a bit of time out, and you've done some traveling. Watch a couple of games of rugby.
Watch a bit of footy. Yeah. Oh no, that's right. So I mean, it's all about life balance, isn't it? So yeah, I've been involved in real estate for over 30 years, and I've seen people burn themselves out. You see these people that go soar to the sky for 2 or 3 years, and then where are they? And they're just gone. It's because they can't balance their work, their family, and their private life. So you've got to have that balance, and you've got to be able to. You are working for something. Not only if you want to be number one in real estate, that's great. You're working for that, But I know Amanda loves to have her trips overseas as well. She's got a pretty good travel agent too.
Yes.
But, you know, and we are working for something at the end of the day, and it's, you know, it's a great industry to be in. And you certainly reap the rewards of what you're prepared to put into it. So, you know, I think we're fortunate to work in this industry. It's forever changing. Next year's not going to be the same as this year. It'll be different, I'm sure, with, you know, interest rates coming down and bits and pieces. But, you know, we are, as I say, we're really fortunate to be in a position to be able to dictate our destiny. So, you know, I think, like Amanda says, consistency and positivity. It's, you know, I love the saying is, you know, if you think you can, think you can, you will, but if you don't think you can, you won't, you know. So I think that was my sort of outlook on life, really.
Taking a step, and that's the thing, isn't it? If we, you know, it was talked, one of the agents said, look, yeah, I remember driving past this property and it sort of stuck in my head. And next minute it was on the market. And it was most probably a lost opportunity. But however, it was taking that step. And as we do for 2025, I think it's certainly going to be a positive year next year. There are a number of things for us to look forward to. There are going to be some exciting changes as we as a company step into that arena and produce all these hopefully new bits and pieces for us to work with. But as far as yourselves are concerned, it's been a wonderful year. We certainly appreciate what you all have done. Don't forget that we're going to celebrate on the 11th of December, which is our Christmas party at Te Wharewoka from 4:30, and it's going to be an evening of celebration, that's for certain. So we will look forward to seeing you there. Rhodes, yep, what a great time, mate. It's been really good. It's been really good. So to you all, kia ora, nau mai aere mai, aroa tēnā nui, and we look forward to seeing you. God bless, and best wishes for a wonderful Merry Christmas. Kia ora.